Greetings everyone, this is Mike Wright, the Astro Sherpa, dropping in with a spatial report. And there's the morning star, Venus. So Venus is rising, and we're going to get to her in a little bit. We have to talk about the big boy first. And the moon. So the moon is coming through Aries, and this is picking up some illumination. So also fire, activating Mars and this instinct to separate, get justice. And let's look at Jupiter. So Jupiter up here seeks justice. Okay? So Jupiter was the father figure, literally means Io pater. Pater, father. So Jupiter, the father figure, was thought to bring abundance. Literally turned into a shower of gold. But the downside was Jupiter chased all the wrong things. Actually impregnated human women, creating demigods. You know, half humans, half divinity. These are stories. So this is intellectual understanding of your psyche, your psychological needs, feelings, beings. And this is triggered by the moon. So the moon changes quickly. We see it move really fast. We see it change its shape, its color, its light. This is how things transform. It pulls us in and out. So let's go look at Venus. Talk about Miss Venus. So Venus in Virgo is about finding beauty through work and service, health and wellness, understanding that justice is found in the beautiful, the things of beauty. We find bliss and comfort even in the ugly, trying times of war. That one beautiful kiss after the freedom celebration. This was a picture seen around the world in New York City after World War II. So we have the choice of basis, the basis of where you stand. How do you evaluate yourself? Do you feel ugly, depressed, dark, down, destroyed? Your life is in turmoil, feeling ugly, rejected, depressed. You know, these are reinforcements of the negative energy. That's the energy where we sink down into the material, or we've been chasing the material things versus the spiritual things. So Jupiter is the spirit of things. That's why it brings abundance. So when you tune into the spirit, you're elevated. That's why Jupiter ruled Pisces and singing. Yeah. So when you sing, your spirit is elevated. But the soul expression, if you're singing the wrong tunes, then your soul doesn't understand. And the gift you were given is to understand. You have memory. You have a lot of memories. You just haven't uncovered them all yet. And this is why we need change. That's why we separate the principle of Mars, war, strife, challenges. But we have to overcome this resistance, rebel, the rebel. So Jupiter's grandfather is right up here in Taurus too, besides Jupiter, and they're gonna meet up. So He was the rebel. Got his nuts cut off for it too. So when his nuts were thrown into the ocean, it created Venus out of the foam. Yeah, these stories are wild, but they have meaning to our own psychological understanding. So here's Sirius, the dog star, chasing after Orion, which we can't quite see because of the cloud cover. But these planets are jealous of you. Why? That planet is in an orbit. It will circle in that orbit forever. So that's what fate determinism is. But you have the choice to be affected by that or not. If you seek abundance all the time, you will be weighed down by the materialistic things of abundance. And then you can't go to the heavenly sphere, which is your creative imagination. You're too worried about maintaining wealth, your position in society. So Jupiter wants virtue. Venus gets us into the vice realm. So the battle of these planetary energies is virtue and vice. And they all have both, show us both. Saturn, which you can't see, reflects off the moon. Saturn holds our memories. So if you have bad memories, guess what? You can change and release those. Those are your ancestral patterns and wounds. Free them, let them go. They don't have any effect on you anymore if you release them. And that's what cutting chords. Chords are old harmonies or disharmonies, angles. Numbers in themselves mean nothing. They're placeholders. Time itself never changes. It goes in a circle. It's just a measurement of change. So only through visual understanding can we see change. We feel it, but truly we have to see it to believe it. So the spiritual world is what we don't see. Intuition is how we feel it. We know it, but we can't point it out. Science says it doesn't exist. But guess what? It sure does. So let's go inside and look at this chart. This is eclectic energy rolling through here right now. And this is the build up to the eclipse with this moon in Taurus, which is exalted. So we're going to show you a little reveal too, where the moon is and what you need to do to get through this eclipse energy. So let's back this out. Look at this chart and talk about what the heck is going on. So the moon met up with Neptune in Pisces, and this is setting this spiritual story in motion. So the moon in Aries is illumination, fire in a new direction. And this is building up to the eclipse, which will happen right here in Taurus. So Taurus is Venus's sign, the earth. The earth senses you have. So Taurus is stability, power. The power of understanding Aries, that you are greater than your animalistic desires. So this is how we heal ourselves, and we find the honey. Yeah, that's right. So the honey is found in the earth. We look for resources from the earth. So we get fuel from wood, old old energies that were stored in the earth, water, oil, natural gases. These were energy sources that were tapped and considered finite. So this is what created toxic environments when we rip out too much of the earth. And guess what? Pluto down here in Capricorn is hidden elements in the earth. So that's what creates batteries. So water, Pluto rules Scorpio, which is water, and Mars, fire. So a battery holds fire, and it takes lead, Saturn, memory, structure, boundaries, restriction to limit power. So by limiting power, then you can control it and send it in the right direction, positive or negative. So power flows from potential to the negative. So it goes out the negative terminal. So the feminine nature is that negative terminal. So the masculine nature is the positive, separate principle, and the feminine is the integrative principle. So when we want to integrate people, things, places, and environments, it takes our feminine, creative, subjective mind. We have to consider others' perspectives, others' location. Also, others' points of view and how they feel. So Venus says what is beautiful is just. We look at nature and the patterns created in nature to see the mind of the Creator itself. So our minds can't comprehend infinity. It's so huge that we have to separate it and break it down, and we use, base 10 to do that. That's why our government's printing trillions of dollars. They're just adding zeros, which is a make-believe number. Zero, nothing. So base 10 is, you take one, you add a zero on it, now you have completion, perfection. So we go from 0 to 9, 1 to 10, those are two different counting systems. So in this circle right here you're looking at, we use 360 degrees. That's a full circle. The sun rotates around. We go around the sun in 365 days approximately. And so we lose 4¼ days because of the bulge of the earth. The pull of that moon we showed you, how close it is. That literally stretches our sphere as it's spinning, as well as the sun. So this solar principle is Ra-El. So the center is, from there to the outer edge of the circle, is pi, right? The radius. This is a number we can't comprehend because it never repeats itself to eternity. Nobody's found, they've calculated out to as far as they can find it, and there's never repeating numbers. So this is extraordinary. That's why regular numbers, integers, really have no meaning other than placeholders. So time is this one circle itself. But we break it up into sections, seasons. So you're looking at 4 seasons here on the earth. That's why Ptolemy and these ancients said, they put the earth in the center and the sun was out past Venus, in between Venus, Mars, Jupiter. So that was based on its velocity. So this was the understanding that, you're looking at right here, right now. So when we look at the solar point of view, it's usually preceding, because the light has to be bent coming into our atmosphere, and that's why it's projected onto our chart. So yes, light gets bent, reflected, and then distributed into many colors, frequencies, octaves. So this is how we ascend and descend up and down the scale. So Libra over here, which will be rising with Venus as the ruler of that sign, is the scales of harmony, completion. We sing, right? We have to follow in time, otherwise our notes would be random and chaotic. So Libra, the scale, we think justice too, but that's more Jupiter's realm up here in Sagittarius. So Venus looks to Jupiter, the father figure, for justice. She's power. She's all about power, and she gets it from the earth itself. So if you think about gold, where does gold come from? It's literally shot up from the core of the earth. When the earth's plates shift, or pressure sends up these steam, heat, moisture, they shoot up fissures through the rocks. This energy is permeated, and then it crystallizes. We call quartz. And these quartz veins hold minerals, heavy minerals. They're trapped. And this is where Uranus, which is the divine stealer of fire, the rebel, looks like an angel here, probably the fallen angel, tied to the rock, and the eagle pecked away at its liver. But this was seen as Jupiter's grandfather with his nuts cut off, we were talking about. But Uranus is the innovator. It's the high frequencies we have to attune to and feel to awaken your higher senses, your higher understanding, so that you're not trapped in dark matter. Because the psyche is delicate. That's the feminine form I'm going to show you here in a second. So let's turn this camera around, and we will talk about colors, sounds, and frequencies. Extinguish the light. So the moon card is right in this symbol. So 3 of Wands, this is fire. 3 is the triangle, how we can measure extreme distances, even out to infinity, if we use a triangle. So by 2 points of view, yours and mine, and if we focus on one thing, we can triangulate and measure the area in that triangle, even if the lines go in infinite directions. So the color yellow is courage, to stand out there in the darkness and look for answers and not listen to a basis of false. The dark programming you to believe that conflict is necessary. So the principle of Mars is assertive, separating, but it's also where we can sift, polish, work things, imagine. This robe is red. So that is by controlling our assertive force and put it to work, helping others, then you're wearing a superhuman cape. And now you stand on the basis of your choice not to be carried into war by others. So Venus is the principle of the feminine. So our universe was visualized as a big giant egg, a feminine egg. And inside that egg held the principle of all life, all memories. So we're here to master our sensual nature and the animal nature. So the lion has to have courage to roar. It has that big hairy mane around it, but if you shave that off, it'd look like a little kitty cat. So we have to tame the beast, which is our animal impulses, our animal desires, to fight and kill and destroy those who have wounded us. You're wounded because of your memories, not any current events. The current events are to wake you up to your power, to understand, grow past all this. So we use awareness, we use illumination, we use light, but we also have to balance darkness, because we're in darkness. We fell into form. That's when you're born, you literally drop out of your mother's womb. Okay? We live beneath that moon, which changes all the time. So that affects the tides of water in the body. And that's why we speak constantly about drinking fresh water. Because the sifting motion of water is the abrasive, with crystals, sand, but it polishes us. You have the ability to manipulate your reality by standing on a basis of truth. Do you understand that? That's your power you have. Your mind, illumination. Ignorance is the refusal to remember who you are. You want to be carried along by the tides of time and let somebody else make your decisions because you feel weak, vulnerable, abused, whatever. You think you don't have a choice. That's wrong. We always have a choice. So, to awaken to your potential and possibility, you have to begin with understanding yourself. Everything about yourself. Why were you given eyes, ears, nose, a mouth? This is the most wicked weapon in the world right there. So, get ready for this big lunar eclipse, which ends 2 years of understanding power, raw power versus contained power, and the transformation of the feminine energy, okay? This is sexual power, sexual identities. But that is based in the lower realm here, okay? That's our animal creative principle, generation, regeneration. That's done in the physical. So our spirit is regenerated up there in the higher realms. But we have to go deep inside to find in our memories, and you have all memory, you do. It's in your DNA cells. We all have it. Every drop of water contains the principle of life. So, cleanse yourself, purify yourself, clear your mind, and be ready, for this dark time. It's scary. The goblins and the ghouls will come out, but this is for you to conquer them through virtue. Virtue means you're standing aware. It's not about being moral, saying, I'm right, they're wrong. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you understanding yourself. Where are you? How do you feel? Why do you feel that way? Are you projecting somebody else's story? Are you living in misery? Do you want company with misery? Or do you seek to understand and grow your mind to the higher potential? That's evolution. We're all spiraling and it's expanding, not contracting now. So the darkness, which we see as the underworld, our psyche, we've been illuminated. So this is going deeper and deeper. So it's going to go down into the darker and darker aspects of beliefs, old beliefs, conflicts over these beliefs. But the revelation is we're all in this together under the one big giant circle you saw here. That's the globe we're on. We're all in this together. So anyway you go, I hope you're well. Tune in, tune up, and participate. Understand the separation of time and space. Grow to your own understanding and have the basis of truth where you stand and face this world. Anyway you go, I hope you're well. Astro Sherpa out.